Not that really number of people come in, but here we are. We are at Winnemiss in Massachusetts in the United States. This is a wildlife conservation area. The parking lot used to be over here, actually. Let's move to the other side. Missed that memo. Ooh, looks like they didn't plant anything this year. They used to do like corn and stuff in here. They do stock this with pheasant, which I think they stock all of the sections of Winnemiss Meadows. There's it's actually a relatively large property, so there's a few ways to go in. And so a lot of times this is called the lower section, historically. The lower fields. Oh, here we go. Milkweed. So we're just going to go for a little walk because I'm unemployed. I don't really have anything else to do. We used to do a bit of bird hunting in here, actually, for pheasant. Duck hunting. It's kind of swampy over there. We used to run into a lot of duck hunters out here. I think they were mostly puddle shooting. Just kind of surprising the ducks. Ducks fly up and they try to shoot them. I think that's what they were doing. I'd love to get into duck hunting, but I don't know much about it. So this piece of conservation property reaches all the way across the swamp to the next road. I did a live at the Upper Meadows maybe a few weeks ago. Give you an idea. Looks like they don't plant it with corn anymore. I was kind of hoping they did. Make it easier to walk. Kind of briary, nasty stuff. Yeah, it looks like they're just letting it sit this year. May not be bad. It becomes pretty decent cover, I guess. I think we'll kick up a bird. But if we head over here, so there's some debate about exactly. So, long ago, this would be before the American Revolution, this area was known as Quabog Plantation. So, it was part of the Massachusetts colony and then the New England colony, as they called it. So this was the Quabog Plantation, which was decently remote. So colonization, settlement of Massachusetts kind of came in from the ocean, so Boston, and then the other way was up the Connecticut River. So it's sort of a two-pronged approach. Now, this area is kind of almost in between the two, about as in between the two as you can get. And so it was kind of the far extent from Boston. Hadley, Deerfield, Springfield, those were all people who came upriver from Connecticut. Now, the King Philip War, or Metacomet's War, there was a battle fought at Quabog Plantation, an early battle called Williard Surprise. Man, this stuff's deep. I'm also kind of short, that doesn't help. So, during the King Philip War, there was a pretty decent battle at what's now the Brookfields, Quabog Plantation area. Where exactly it's fought is not agreed on. There's an argument made that it was fought basically where the road is now. It matches the description, swampy on one side with a hill on the other. Relatively thin piece of real estate. So, Williard's forces, so these were militia, and native guides, were looking for a band of Metacomet warriors. The Metacomet warriors basically ambushed them. I know there seems to be a repeated lesson here about chasing forces that know the land better than you, ambushing you. And they got ambushed. Williard didn't get killed, but I guess he kind of went cross-eyed in the action and didn't do much, and it was actually the native guides who kind of pulled the forces out. Got to Quabog Plantation, holed up in a blockhouse, and then they had a siege. Which, kind of cleverly, Metacomet wasn't there himself. King Philip, he was known as. I guess they tried to ram the blockhouse with a burning carriage. Kind of smart. They wanted to just start a fire. Hopefully the fire would burn out the defenders. Didn't work. Oh, looks like there's an information poster. Maybe they planted over there. Ow. Safety zone. And my leg's cramping. Ouch. It will pop out back onto the road and go higher. Safety zone. I wonder about what. There used to be a racetrack through there, if I remember correctly. That would have been 40 years ago. I'm stretching my legs. Safe. Yeah. Yeah. No shooting within or into area behind the sign. Huh. Interesting. I wonder if they were having some issues because those signs weren't here. Well, I haven't hunted here and been here in 10 years. What I have heard from people is that Winnemissett, this area, gets bird hunted a lot harder than it used to. I guess you can still hunt that side, but I wonder if there are issues of people firing in there, and there must be houses or something that were getting hit. Or maybe deer were the issue. Actually, yeah, there isn't really a backstop back there. I've crawled in there hunting before. There used to be a racetrack in there. It's kind of swampy. Wondering though, if you had a slug, there's not much to stop you there other than hitting a tree. I wonder if it was becoming an issue. Probably only had to be an issue one time. Not gonna affect the duck hunters. They'll be out in the swampy stuff. It probably means you could get a good amount of holdover pheasants then. kind of tuck themselves in that swampy section. Ooh. Deer track. Oh, another deer track. Yeah, so I guess probably somewhere along this road. There's trash bins, and there must be a house out there. Metacomet's forces moved. Or Metacomet forces ambushed Wheeler's forces. Wheeler's forces, jeez. They did a reenactment here on this side years and years ago of the battle. It's kind of funny to think, like, a lot of these battles were 100, 200 people aside. And those were the big ones later in the war. But Williard's surprise was a lot smaller, supposedly. 50, 80 people on both sides. All right, let's go uphill. If it's still like it was years ago, there's a trail up in this corner. There's even more on the other side of that swamp I showed earlier. So overall, it's a pretty large piece of conservation land. Trail seems to be gone. Not surprised. That happens. You can still kind of see it. This trail's fallen into disrepair. Or maybe when hunting season comes, it'll be more noticeable. So yeah, it's a section like this. Yeah, this is not as open as it used to be. So just a quick little tour. So everybody, thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing. And I'll see you in my next unemployed adventure.